Live from Red Zone Weather, this is a severe weather alert.
Severe thunderstorms are currently moving southeast across our area. This line of storms has a history of producing damage in Clark County, where numerous trees are down in many communities across the county. Good Tuesday evening to you. I'm meteorologist Spinks Megginson. We have a widespread damaging wind event happening in the northern part of our area on this Tuesday evening that has prompted several severe thunderstorm warnings. As of 6:43 p.m., we have no active tornado warnings. We have not had any tornado warnings locally today, unlike the last 2 days when we did have warnings. But today it's a severe thunderstorm event so far. No tornado warnings as of yet. But right now we do have this line of severe thunderstorms currently moving southeast across our area. At this particular moment, the most intense part of this line of storms extends from near Greenville in Butler County back down I-65 to near Evergreen and Owasso, ultimately back over to Monroeville, all the way down to Uri. That's the most intense part of the line, and that's the part of the line that I want to focus on first. We'll zoom into that area, and again, if you are in any part of Butler County, Alabama, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning. This severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 7:45 local time, and again, that's for all of Butler County. Damaging straight line winds up to 70 miles per hour are going to be the concern in Butler County. That warning also includes the northern half of Conecuh County. Evergreen, Owasso, Liefien, Mixonville, Burnt Corn, back over to Bowles up to Midway, involved in the severe thunderstorm warning in Conecuh County. That warning also includes all parts of Crenshaw County and the far northern part of Covington County. Places like Gant Lake, Clearview, back over to Rose Hill, involved in the severe thunderstorm warning downwind of the actual line of storms that extends back into Monroe County. Very heavy rain happening right now in Monroeville. But again, the big issues so far today have been back over Clark County, where we have had several confirmed reports of damage. This is Clark County right in through here. Here's Washington. That is Choctaw, Marengo, Wilcox, and Monroe. So again, Clark County right in through here. Just to read you some of the reports that we have had over the last hour or so, most of these coming from the emergency manager, Roy Waite, over in Clark County. Trees are down across Clark County, and again, just reading some of the reports, we have a report of trees down near Highway 69 near Campbell's Landing Road. That's going to be way up here in the northern part of the county. We've also got trees down blocking a road near Coffeyville. Coffeyville is right here. You've also got trees and power lines down to the west of Thomasville near Bashai. Bashai is right there, smack dab in the middle of northern Clark County. Also a tree down in Thomasville, very near West Front Street and also near Dozier Street. You've also got trees and power lines down near Wilson Hill Middle School. That's going to be there in Grove Hill. So again, the northern part of Clark County has really taken a beating this evening from this line of severe thunderstorms that continues to move to the south. If you're in Clark County, by the way, the threat from severe weather is about to be over. You still have strong storms happening in the southern part of the county out towards Gainestown, Suggsville, and Watley, but the storms are exiting the county, and we can give a severe weather all clear to much of Clark County back behind this line of storms. So yes, you're still going to have heavy rain and gusty winds, maybe even a clap of loud thunder over the next several hours, but the imminent severe weather risk for Clark is now over. Again, several reports of damage coming in from northern Clark County. Let's talk about what's happening elsewhere across the region, because one bit of good news to pass along. The southern severe thunderstorm warning, in other words, this warning that was in effect for northern Mobile, northern Baldwin, southern Clark, and southern Washington, and southern Monroe, is now off the board. The Weather Service has decided that this part of the line of storms is now below severe limits at the moment anyway, and they have chosen not to extend that severe thunderstorm warning farther to the south. And so I'm encouraged by that, because perhaps that is the beginning of a trend. We'll have to watch it over the next hour or so as this line of storms continues pushing into areas near Atmore, Bay Minette, Perdido, back into the Mobile Metro, Pritchard, Saraland, back over to Wilmer over the next 30 minutes. Those are really the communities next in line from this part of the line of thunderstorms. But again, we are here to talk about the severe part of this line currently producing perhaps upwards of quarter-size hail and damaging wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour in places like Greenville, back down to Chapman, down to Georgiana and McKenzie along the U.S. Highway 31 corridor. We would encourage no travel at this point on Interstate 65. Let's go back over to LD1 and I'll show you that we've got big issues across the state of Alabama. LD2, I apologize, to show the whole state. There we go. And this is your line of storms. We actually had a tornado warning about 20 minutes ago for the northern part of the Montgomery, Alabama metro area, including areas near Wetumpka and Eclectic, in addition to northern Montgomery. This line of storms extends all the way up to places like Alexander City, Lake Martin, and again, you're looking at central Alabama at this point. Auburn, Opelika, areas near Union Springs, also Tuskegee, Troy, all those areas are involved in an active severe thunderstorm warning where we could have trees coming down left and right due to this bowing segment that currently is working its way through Alabama's capital city of Montgomery. And again, this is working its way to the east, currently moving through Eclectic back up to Dadeville and Alex City, coming into areas near Valley, Lynette, and Auburn on the U.S. Highway 85 corridor. And so what I would tell you, if you are traveling anywhere in Alabama on US 85, I would pull over, get off the road, as this is going to be an intense line of storms moving into areas near I-85. If you know someone traveling this evening anywhere in Alabama on Interstate 85, they need to be off the interstate. Same thing on I-65, which of course is our main interstate here in South Alabama. We would say no travel at this point from Prattville, which is exit 179, all the way back down to exit 96, which is your Evergreen exit. So again, that's a big stretch of interstate, basically from Evergreen up to Georgiana, Greenville, Fort Deposit, up to areas near Logan, Montgomery, back up to Prattville. Nasty line of storms moving in from the west that is downing trees. Let's go back over to LD1 and we'll show you the live local radar. And again, this is the part of the line locally that we are most concerned about, as this could be producing damaging straight line winds from basically Owasso and areas just to the north of Evergreen, extending up to Georgiana, Starlington, Chapman, areas near Greenville, Forest Home, and Fort Dale, involved in this active severe thunderstorm warning that is producing likely 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So again, absolutely no travel from Evergreen all the way back up to Prattville on Interstate 65 and on US Highway 31. If you know someone traveling on 31 from Evergreen back up to Montgomery, no travel is advised at this point. We're going to talk a lot about what's coming up in terms of what you can expect in the overnight hours, but before we do that, I do want to show one image. Let's get ready. Don't take it full just yet, but let's get ready to take my MacBook full. This is going to be from Chad Moore, and this was taken at Range, Alabama. You can go ahead and take my MacBook full if you will, please. And this is the type of images that we're getting today. You can see the leading edge of this band of thunderstorms coming into Range, which is a community in southwestern Conecuh County. Views just like this. In fact, this is one of those scenarios, because we don't have any tornado warnings, if you want to step outside and snap a picture, I guarantee you in parts of Butler, Conecuh, coming into Covington counties, you're going to have great views just like this of shelf clouds most likely coming into your particular area. So again, this is what we're looking at across the region as this line of storms continues pushing in from the west. Let's go back over to LD1. And again, looking at a situation where we have an active tornado watch, although I note that the Weather Service is in the process of canceling several counties out of the tornado watch. And with that said, we'll be able to give you an all clear. Yes, just getting that in. And so here's a bit of good news. If you are in any part of Washington, Clark, or Monroe counties, we can now give you a tornado watch all clear. The tornado risk has basically come to an end for those three counties. The tornado watch has been canceled. And so what I'm telling you, all clear for places like Chatham, Thomasville, Grove Hill, Jackson, even Monroeville at this point. I realize all those areas have moderate to heavy rain ongoing, but back behind this initial line of storms, we can give those areas a severe weather convective all clear. I had a guy message me several weeks ago. We posted an all clear message, and all clear is from the tornado and damaging wind risk, not rain and lightning. Lightning does not make a storm severe. If lightning made a storm severe, we'd have, a million warnings a year or something like that. And so you got to have winds in excess of 58 miles per hour, large hail, or a tornado. And at this point, for much of our area, this line of storms does not meet any of those qualifiers, and so that is a good thing. The only part of this line of storms that is severe is here in northern Conecuh, Butler, coming into Crenshaw, and the far northern part of Covington County. And when I say Covington County, I explicitly mean areas from Red Level back over to Gant Lake Dam, over to Rose Hill, and points north. That includes places like Clearview, Brooks, back over to Dozier and Crenshaw County, and again, just far northern Covington. At this point, we do not have any type of warning for Andalusia, Opp, Carolina, Loango, Florala, or Pleasant Home. So that certainly is a good thing. Same thing, by the way, in Escambia County, Alabama. Very heavy rain, torrential tropical downpours of rain are about to start near Porch, near the prisons, near Huxford, also near Atmore over the next 5 to 10 minutes. And if you're in Bruton, Flomaton, areas near Pineview, heavy rain is going to begin probably in about 10 to 20 minutes as this line of storms moves east. And keep in mind, there is a good bit of lightning with this particular part of the line of storms. Storms individually are moving to the east, just like that, even though the whole thing is moving to the southeast. I see that we actually have a supercell storm developing down here in northern Okaloosa County. At this point, this is well below severe limits, but we'll have to watch this as this kind of moves northeast. This is northern Okaloosa County, near communities like Baker, back up to Blackman. This is also near areas like Auburn, north of Crestview. This storm is going to lift off to the northeast. That's one we'll have to watch as that lightning output has cranked up over the last little bit. Let's go back to the wide view, and I'll put this radar in motion. You see all these counties that are shaded in different colors. You've got yellow, which represents a tornado watch, and you've got pink, which represents a new severe thunderstorm watch. And I'm optimistic that we are now shifting from a tornado threat. We had several tornadoes earlier in the central part of Alabama, several tornado warnings earlier back here in Mississippi. We have been fortunate so far in that we have not had any tornado warnings for southwest Alabama or northwest Florida. That's a good thing. We'll have to see if that trend continues. But I'm optimistic that this line of storms is now shifting to more of a damaging straight line wind threat as the shear in the atmosphere is more unidirectional. In other words, the wind in the atmosphere high above your head is mainly blowing out of the southwest. When you start to get veering of the winds at different directions, that's when you can have more in the way of a tornado threat. But that is not the case as of now. We see more of a unidirectional shear empowering this line, especially up here in central Alabama, to produce damaging winds, but not really tornadoes at this point. And so that's why you have a new severe thunderstorm watch that has just been issued. Let's go over to the graphics and I'll talk a little bit about that. Because again, we do have a cancellation now of the tornado watch. If you're in Washington, Clark, Choctaw, Marengo, Wilcox, or Monroe counties, you are now out of this tornado watch. This particular system has not updated just yet. But again, those 6 counties that I just called out, you are out, you are in the all clear at this point. Rain, storms going to continue, but the severe weather risk is over. And so what that means is Mobile, Baldwin, Escambia, Alabama, Conecuh, and Butler counties are the Alabama counties involved in the tornado watch. Then you've got Escambia and Santa Rosa in northwest Florida, all parts of those counties involved in the tornado watch. And what the Weather Service has opted to do for Crenshaw, Covington, Okaloosa, Walton, and points east, all of these counties are actually in a severe thunderstorm watch. And what that means is the tornado risk is lower in these areas. It's not zero, but it's much lower even compared to counties farther to the west. And so that's why you're going from a tornado watch to a severe thunderstorm watch. Let's go back over to LD1. And again, looking down, Bruce, have you seen anything in the way of damage over the last few minutes? We had kind of the ramp up about 30 minutes ago back in Clark County, but I have seen nothing in the way of damage from other communities outside of Clark County just yet. I do actually see, as of 8 minutes ago, we have a new report from Clark County. There is a set of trees down blocking one lane of US Highway 84 at Old Highway 84. in Grove Hill. If you remember several years ago, Grove Hill built a bypass on the western side of town, and you've got old Highway 84 that runs into 84 out just to the west of Grove Hill. We'll zoom in. That's going to be right in through here. And again, the main line of storms is long gone, but again, Clark County is where we have seen all of the damage thus far this evening. Tell you what, let's look at this thing in Okaloosa County. This thing has really ramped up in a hurry. If you'll take me over to the, do you have the iPad as a source? We're zooming into that storm right there. We'll go over to the iPad view and look at this because there definitely is some broad rotation in there. Certainly not tight. You're looking at the Eglin Air Force Base radar. This storm is very near Florida State Highway 4. Coming into areas out here near Blackman, also ultimately going to approach Laurel Hill in about 10 minutes. That's the storm that we're watching in Okaloosa County. Back over to LD1. There's that same storm. We'll zoom in briefly. This is an isolated little storm, and it's pretty small right now, but the problem with storms like this, if you start to get any level of rotation, this thing is isolated in nature, and thus you could potentially have a tornado problem in about 10 to 15 minutes if this thing strengthens. And so again, probably not going to have a warning based on the atmospheric profile at this point, but this is certainly going to be one to watch over the next few minutes as it lifts off to the northeast. Also getting a report from the Weather Service, they have changed the severe thunderstorm warning for Butler County to add a tornado possible tag, meaning that this is a severe thunderstorm warning, but this thing has ramped up and there likely is some low-level rotation just to the east of Greenville at this point on Alabama Highway 10. And so we could be on the cusp of about to have a tornado warning for the northern part of Crenshaw and maybe even parts of northern Butler County as this storm ultimately moves towards Luverne over the next few minutes. So we'll keep it here as we continue to track this line of storms. The Weather Service noting that that part of the line of storms is ramping up. And Bruce, you see anything in the comments? You know, over the last few weeks when we've had these Saturday morning, for whatever reason, Saturday morning has been the time that we've had these, early morning severe weather events. And it was interesting because we started in the nighttime and then those events lasted into the first light of day, waking up a lot of people across our region. This one is totally different. Obviously, we're on a Tuesday, May the 4th, 2021. And we're going into nighttime. And so you certainly don't want to venture out on area roadways if you're involved in this severe part of this line of thunderstorms, as darkness is only going to add to the difficulty of driving in a torrential downpour associated with these strong storms. Sorry, anything from you from the comments?
Power out.
Power out, yeah, thanks for reminding me. That is so helpful. If your power is out, let us know in the comments below. And by the way, you've got to tell me approximately at least where you are, because I have no idea. When I look down at a name, that doesn't mean anything. But if you can tell me where you're watching from and if your power is on, that is immensely helpful in the warning process to let us know where there could have been damaging straight line winds, or even sometimes you'll get one of these unwarned tornadoes in these squall lines that move across our area. Let's go back over to the iPad if we can, because I do want to look at this circulation area that's coming into Crenshaw County. We'll put this in motion and see if we can see exactly where the Weather Service is looking. And yeah, right in through there, I see that we've got a message. Let's see what that's about. By the way, I should mention, if you know someone in the Birmingham, Alabama metro area, there is a very rare flash flood emergency in progress for the city of Birmingham and the Birmingham, Alabama metro at this point. And so what that means is it's a situation where you have widespread intense flash flooding that even exceeds the flash flooding warning criteria. It's a flash flood emergency in place for the city of Birmingham, Alabama. And so if you know someone in Birmingham, call them and let them know. Don't need to be out on the roadways tonight, no doubt about it. And yeah, right in through here, that's going to be the little area that the Weather Service has flagged. Although I have to say, that area of circulation has somewhat fizzled out as it has moved into Crenshaw. And so that certainly is a good thing. Again, right in through there is your little notch in that part of the line of storms. Let's go back over to the regional radar view, LD2, please. And we'll put this in motion because, again, it's been a day where we've had several tornado warnings. You can kind of see some red boxes flashing in through there from earlier when we had a tornado warning for parts of Shelby, Chilton. We also had a tornado warning for parts of Elmore and Montgomery counties. As of the current time, which is 7:03 p.m., we have no active tornado warnings for any part of Alabama or Northwest Florida. This is a severe line of thunderstorms that could be knocking down trees as far north as areas up here near Lake Martin, coming into areas near Dadeville, Waverly, also Daviston, areas out here south of Roanoke, Valley, Lynette, Auburn, Opelika, severe thunderstorm warnings there. This line also continues farther south in Macon, Bullock, and Pike counties, all parts of Pike County, including the city of Troy, Alabama, under a severe thunderstorm warning. And so if you have a student on the campus of Troy University, I don't know about you, but there were certainly times in college where I was probably not as weather aware as I should have been. And so if you have a student on the campus of Troy University, call them and let them know that this severe line of storms is about 20 minutes out from the city of Troy. Damaging winds possible, and we want folks off the roads in all parts of Pike County. Let's go back over to LD1. So we're going to zoom back into this area because, again, this is Butler and Crenshaw counties. Very heavy rain at this point. And I have to say, the lightning output with this line of storms has been prolific today, especially earlier today when we had plenty of heat content back over in Mississippi. We had widespread tree damage across parts of Mississippi with trees coming down left and right. And that certainly could be the case right now, extending from areas near Grady, also Highland Home, coming into areas near Luverne along Alabama Highway 10. This line of storms extends down to Okie Streak and Pigeon Creek there in Butler County. You've also got very heavy rain starting along Alabama Highway 55 from McKenzie back down to Brooks. Tiny community of South sits right here, red level as well, involved in a severe thunderstorm warning. Let's look at northern Covington just to give you kind of a heads up. Here's Gant. The Gant Lake Dam is right in through here. This is Gant Lake. Clearview, this is US Highway 29. And Gant, Clearview, Rose Hill, areas near the Power South power manufacturing facility right there at the dam. Across the street, you got the Dollar General. Up the hill, you've got Hilltop Barbecue, north of Andalusia. In those areas, that's where we have this active severe thunderstorm warning extending back over to red level. Damaging wind gusts are the main concern. This warning has nothing to do with Andalusia or Opp at the moment. But with that said, in about 10 minutes, if you're in the city of Andalusia, you are going to get pelted by heavy rain, gusty winds perhaps up to 30 to 40 miles per hour, and a good bit of lightning and thunder with that storm. I'm looking out our studio windows, and it has gotten very dark here where we are in the city of Brewton, Alabama. Our studio is right here, and we actually have a view to the south, but I can tell you it is dark looking to the south, and that's because of all these storms that extend from Castleberry back over to Wallace, basically down the I-65 corridor all the way down to exit 57 there at Atmore. Let's go over to Mobile and Baldwin counties. We had a severe thunderstorm warning for these areas earlier. Now that storms have arrived, they're under severe limits, and that's what you want to see for places like Citronelle, back down to Gulf Crest, Chinchula, over to Mount Vernon, access areas near Calvert, Creola, Saraland, under the gun from strong storms that are under severe limits. So again, working a situation where we have active weather, but at this point, it's good news for most of our area, not all, but most. We don't have any warnings for this particular part of the line of thunderstorms that is moving southeast. That is a good thing. The part of the line that's most intense is actually in central Alabama, up around Lake Martin and Montgomery, but that part of the line extends all the way down to places like Evergreen, coming into Red Level and Greenville, where you could have damaging winds in excess of 70 miles per hour. And let's see, what time is sunset today? It happens at 7:29 in 21 minutes. So sunset is at 7:29 in 21 minutes. That means that we're going to lose daylight, and thus I would imagine if there is a shelf cloud on the leading edge of that, you've only got a few minutes to see it if you're in Escambia County, Alabama. Same thing out here near Brooklyn, Nymph, Jay Villa, also areas near Johnsonville, maybe having a shelf cloud moving in. But again, the good news is this part of the line is under severe limits, which is what we want to see. Let's see if we can check on our storm down in Okaloosa County as well. You know, that's kind of the main event tonight, this line of storms, but we're also watching these individual storms north of Crestview out toward Baker at this point, as that is a small cell that has showed signs of broad rotation, certainly nothing imminent there in terms of the tornado risk, and so that certainly is a good thing. Let's go back over to the iPad though, because there is a part of this storm that does appear to be having some blips on the radar in terms of areas of rotation right in through there in southern Butler County. That's going to be very near Okie Streak and Pigeon Creek, crossing into southern Crenshaw near Brantley over the next 5 to 10 minutes. That part of the line is the most suspicious part in our local area, and let's do a sample on that. You see that number, it may be hard for you to see, that says 68 mile per hour winds, and keep in mind the radar beam at this height is probably about 2,000 feet off the ground, but nonetheless it certainly is the right call on the part of the Weather Service as we go back over to LB1 to have a severe thunderstorm warning in place, as right in through there, that little notch is the most suspicious part. And again, we're going to keep it here just for the next few minutes to make sure that we don't get a tornado warning for southern Crenshaw or northern Covington. That is a suspicious part of the line of storms. Have you seen anything in the way of damage? If you've got trees down, let us know in the comments below. If you know of trees down, let us know as well. I also had one report earlier from Camden, Alabama, which of course is in Wilcox County, of several trees down and also a shed that had the roof blown off. So again, that was in Camden. Just now coming across the NWS chat feed, trees and power lines are down in Greenville on Alabama Highway 10 near Stabler Hospital. That's down there on the southern side of town. This is the city of Greenville, and let me say, if you're in Greenville, we can give you a severe weather all clear. The threat is over. Rain and storms are going to continue, but if you are in Greenville, you're okay at this point. Storms are to your east. Stabler's down here on the south side of town along Alabama Highway 10, and that facility has had trees and power lines down apparently over the last few minutes. Seeing if we can get any more information on that. Just thinking about this area, you've got Interstate 65, obviously this thicker line right in through here. That right there at the tip of my finger, that's exit 128. You go down eastbound on Alabama Highway 10, Stabler Hospital sits right there on the north side of Alabama Highway 10, which is kind of on the western flank of Greenville. And so right in through there, we know that we've got trees down due to this line of storms that has now moved off about 10 miles to the east, currently affecting areas near Luverne. But clearly this part of the line of storms is the most intense, and this is northern Covington County. I'll flip over to the velocity. And yeah, there are some blips in there that show broad rotation. This is not tight rotation. To get a tornado, you generally need the tighter rotation on the velocity where there are couplets visible, and we don't see any of that. We just see broad rotation. But you could have damaging straight line winds up to 70 miles an hour, and obviously that's certainly a big deal anytime you have something like that going on. Let me stress though, as of 7:12 p.m., we have no active tornado warnings for any part of South Alabama or any part of Alabama or Northwest Florida at this point. I'm meteorologist Spinks Megginson, joined alongside Bruce Thompson as we continue to track severe thunderstorms moving across the northern part of our area. As of 7:12 p.m., that's right now, the Weather Service is trimming this polygon back, and that means that we'll be able to give a few more severe weather all clear messages, which is what we like to give. There's the new update. And so with that said, I realize you've got very heavy rain, lots of lightning, some thunder in Evergreen, but the severe threat in Evergreen has come to an end. Same thing anywhere west of I-65, and north of Highway 84 in Conecuh or Butler counties, you get an all clear. Greenville, Georgiana, also areas near Chapman, back out to Forest Homes, Starlington, all clear. The severe weather risk today has come to an end, and that's what we like to see. Same thing in northern Conecuh, Owasso, Liefien, Evergreen, back up to Mixonville, Skinnerton, Midway. All those areas, you get an all clear. If you're just joining us, it's 7:13 p.m. and we've already given an all clear to in terms of the tornado and damaging wind risk to all parts of Monroe, Clark, Washington, Choctaw, Marengo, and Wilcox counties. All those areas, you get an all clear. Yes, I realize it is raining heavily, it is storming, but the convective threat has come to an end in those areas, meaning no more damaging straight line winds or tornadoes. The CAPE, or instability, is being reduced, I should say, to near zero back behind this advancing line of thunderstorms. Let's go back over to the graphics if we can. And again, let me mention we have an ongoing tornado watch valid for Butler, Conecuh, Escambia, Baldwin, and Mobile counties. The previously mentioned counties up here are out. Also, Escambia and Santa Rosa involved in the tornado watch. Severe thunderstorm watch, meaning severe thunderstorm warnings will be possible in the hours ahead, up for Okaloosa, Walton, Covington, Crenshaw, and points east. Here are the severe weather watches for the whole state. And again, some of these counties have been cleared out of the tornado watch. This level 4 risk has gone away. And there's the local view. I'm trying to get, there we go, there's our risk levels. And again, tonight, clearly, the threat is damaging straight line winds. That's what we're tracking in these powerful storms currently moving across southern Butler, Crenshaw, and northern Covington counties. Damaging straight line winds are the main concerns. In addition, we do have a flash flood watch that's in effect for the entire area. This actually is valid until Wednesday afternoon. We could have more rain overnight, even though the severe weather risk will come to an end. The threat of heavy rain that could lead to flash flooding is not going away. And so that's why every part of our local area is involved in a flash flood watch. We'll show you what's going to happen over the next few hours. This line of storms is ultimately going to collapse most likely, in other words, weaken somewhat as it moves off to the southeast. But again, in the overnight hours, could have more in the way of loud thunder and also heavy rain across the region as thunderstorms continue to move in from the west. So again, your severe weather risk will end as these instability values plummet, but again, could have loud and proud thunderstorms in the overnight hours. Tomorrow, by the way, the Storm Prediction Center has the southern half of our area involved in a low-end severe weather risk. But by the time we're talking in the morning video at 7 o'clock, I expect this to be trimmed back somewhat. Let's go back over to LD1, kind of wrapping things up here as this is somewhat of a situation where no news is good news. And, this event, certainly not a bust, because we did have numerous trees down back in Clark County and also trees down confirmed in Butler and Wilcox County. Clearly, the inland areas have taken the brunt of this weather system as it continues moving to the east. But what that means is for the vast majority of us across the region, this is going to be a general heavy rain and lightning and thunder event with very low probabilities in through here of damaging winds and tornadoes. And that is a good thing. We've had our fair share, no doubt about it, over the last few weeks. We've been, just having a plethora of severe weather over the last few weeks. And finally, we get one that's more of a low-end risk for areas near the coast. But again, for folks inland, there are folks with damage. And so I don't want to forget about that. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. It's been a bad event for areas farther inland in parts of Clark, Monroe, Wilcox, and Butler counties. But so far, so good closer to the coast. And another thing, we didn't really have the supercells that developed out ahead of the main line today that produced tornadoes. And so that certainly was a helpful thing as well. The most intense part of this line as of 7:17 p.m. currently moving by northern Covington County. If you're in Andalusia, heavy rain is about to start, but the severe thunderstorm warning is to your north. This is a ferocious storm coming into areas near Gant Lake. I have to assume, that nobody's out on the lake in a boat. If you are, you better get to shore right now, as this is going to be an intense thunderstorm moving in from the west imminently. Lots of lightning, very heavy rain, gusty winds, damaging winds in some cases, perhaps upwards of 70-mile-per-hour winds coming into areas near Gant and also U.S. Highway 29. No travel at this point from Gant all the way back up to Brantley in Crenshaw County on US Highway 29. Same thing on Highway 331, let's say from Opp all the way back up to Brantley and ultimately Luverne, as there is a part of this line of thunderstorms that's moving in to Crenshaw County. Just looking down at the chat, and we had the report of power lines down near Stabler Hospital, which is down there on the south side of Greenville. Also just getting a report from another emergency manager of more trees down near Ashbury Road. That's in Grove Hill. So Clark County took a beating tonight in terms of this damaging wind thing that happened. Let's go back over to LD2 while I sift through some of these pictures and reports and see if we got anything we need to show before we get out of your hair. Because again, the situation is we have an ongoing line of severe thunderstorms capable of producing damaging wind gusts that extend from areas near Daviston, also areas near Roanoke, Chambers, Lee, Macon, Bullock, Pike, Crenshaw, all the way down to northern Covington County. It looks like the main batch of thunderstorms today is this line of thunderstorms that's pushing east. This is the part of the line in central Alabama mostly that is producing the issues. And so, again, let me sift through some of these photos and reports that we've got coming in. Thank you to everyone who has sent in ground truth views today. We certainly appreciate that. Yeah, and I'm getting several cloud pictures from across the region, but nothing really that stands out as anything that's, severe, and so that is a good thing. Again, this is a line of storms that extends back here from Evergreen back down to, say, Mount Vernon, Wilmer, Citronelle, coming into the Mobile metro near Pritchard over the next few minutes, but that part of the line of thunderstorms is below severe limits. And you know what? I have had no reports over the last few minutes on the community tab on Facebook showing anything, and so that is a good thing. And again, no news is good news in this situation. We don't want to have to report on damage, and so far, at least in several of our counties, we haven't had damage, but Clark County, Wilcox, Butler, those areas have had damage in terms of trees coming down, power lines down in Greenville, and also back here in parts of Clark County. But I'm cautiously optimistic that after we get rid of this severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Butler, Crenshaw, and the far northern part of Covington, there's a real chance that that may be it for the night. And that is great news in terms of warnings. Hopefully we can get out of here and be done with this. It's 7:20. I expect, in fact, let's go into the local area on the LD2 system. I expect this line of thunderstorms to probably be to the southeast of our local area no later than 11 o'clock, maybe even before that. And keep in mind, back behind the line of storms, you get an all clear. Once this main line of storms passes through your hometown, you get an all clear. You can go to bed in peace. You don't have to worry about tornadoes after that. I do see that we've got a new report from the Weather Service. Law enforcement is reporting multiple trees down across the city of Greenville. West Commerce Street, that's near the hospital, Stabler Hospital, southern side of town near exit 128. West Commerce Street is closed due to downed trees and partially closed on Highway 31 South near Alabama Highway 10. And so, again, we have had, yet another report in Greenville of extensive damage in terms of trees coming down over the last 10 to 15 minutes as this ferocious line of thunderstorms moves through. You may have heard thunder there in the background. Let's go back over to LD1. And let's kind of work this line from north to south. Here's the deal. If you're in Butler County, I'll give you an all clear. Anywhere in Butler County, I can give you a severe weather all clear. The rain and thunderstorms are going to continue, but the convective hazards, tornadoes, damaging winds, hail, it's over. All right, so Butler County, anywhere in the county, Georgiana, McKenzie, Greenville, Forest Home, Starlington, Daisy, Oakey Street, Pigeon Creek. All those areas get an all clear. The storm has now moved clearly into Crenshaw County and also the northern part of Covington County. Out here on Gant Lake right now, I tell you, Gant is beautiful. We love the lake, but I wouldn't want to be out there on Gant Lake right now, as this is an intense thunderstorm, likely producing upwards of 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts along US Highway 29, extending from Dozier all the way back down to Clearview and Gant, coming into areas near Strawn. If you're in Strawn, you're kind of on that edge of the severe thunderstorm warning polygon. North of Strawn, that's the severe thunderstorm warning. South of Strawn, you're not involved. And so what that means is, yes, you've got a heavier band of storms coming into Andalusia. You may hear thunder and see lightning, but this part of the storm in Covington County coming into Andalusia is below severe limits. And so that's what you like to see. Same thing in Babby, same thing in Opp. You don't have any issues right now from warning. Same thing in Escambia County, Alabama. That's where we are here in the studio, extending back down to Atmore and Porch at lots of lightning, lots of thunder, heavy rain, obviously, gusty winds. But this part of the line is below severe limits. And so you have nothing to worry about right now in terms of convective hazards right now in Escambia County. You've also got this part of the line coming into areas near Bay Minette, extending back to the Dolly Parton Bridge, areas near exit 19, which is Creola on Interstate 65. You've also got storms back here near Tanner Williams, Wilmer. Big Creek Lake is right in through here as well. That's US Highway 90 right here. This is US Highway 45. That's US Highway 43. On all those highways I just called out in northern Mobile County, very heavy rain is happening, but there's no warning. And so we're not giving any type of, travel advisory at this point. The only travel advisories we are giving would be for US Highway 29 in northern Covington County, north of Gant, Highway 331 north of Rose Hill, all the way back up to Luverne, and Alabama Highway 10 from Luverne back over to Greenville. No travel right now on those roads. That's where you have an active severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the next 45 minutes or so. And again, I'm getting reports in from Greenville. Greenville has been the hotspot over the last few minutes of trees down. We've got trees down in Clark, Wilcox, Butler counties. This part of the line that has bowed out and has now prompted a new severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Coffee, Dale, Henry, and Barber counties over in southeast Alabama. That part of the line is most intense, but all this mess that's moving south into northwest Florida over the next hour, this is below severe limits. That is what you like to see. Before we get out of your hair, let's go back over to the iPad and let's check on our storm in northern Okaloosa County. The good news, this has fizzled out. There is just nothing there. We were watching this storm that was back around Baker and Highway 4, but look at that. There's just nothing there. There is heavy rain, but the lightning output has gone down, and there is no imminent threat of a tornado anywhere at this point across our region. And so with that said, let's go back over to LD1 as we conclude our coverage this evening. Because again, there's just no reason to be here. We've got ongoing severe storms in northern Covington County that could be knocking down a few trees. That warning extends into Crenshaw County. It also extends all the way over to the Georgia state line near Lake Eufaula. You've got communities like Eufaula back over to Troy, Abbeville, also areas just north of Fort Rucker and Daleville. Or excuse me, I apologize. I don't know why I said Daleville. I meant to say Elba. Elba is right here in Coffee County. Daleville's down here and not involved in the warning. This is Elba. Involved in a severe thunderstorm warning ahead of that bowing part of the line that's going to move over into southeast Alabama. But again, no tornado warnings. We have had no tornado warnings on this Tuesday for South Alabama or Northwest Florida. And I realize I haven't talked very much about Northwest Florida. We've been so focused on this line of thunderstorms. What you can expect in Northwest Florida over the next hour is rain at times. There appears to be a lessening degree of a severe weather threat. It is going down at this point due to this line of thunderstorms that's currently moving into areas near Davisville and Bratton. It's going to be raining, no doubt, over the next hour across parts of Northwest Florida, but there simply is very little in the way of danger at this point. And once this main line of storms moves through your location, you will get an all clear. We will have more updates over the next little bit in the Red Zone Weather app as we continue to track this weakening line of thunderstorms currently pushing to the southeast. Again, a severe thunderstorm warning does continue for Rose Hill, areas near Strawn, and the Gant Lake Dam points north back into Crenshaw County over the next little bit. I hope you have a good evening. If we do have any more tornado warnings, of course, we'll jump back here on Facebook Live and bring you the very latest. Have a good evening.